Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Robbie. The brand new Five Nights at Freddy game, Into the Pit, just came out. Tori Dobransky and me have actually been playing it over on the Robbie and Tori channel, and we absolutely love the game. And the main bad guy of the game is my favorite character out of the whole FNAF franchise, William Afton himself, Spring Bonnie. I've actually already made this mask. I'm excited to show you guys exactly how I made it. So let's go back to about 3 weeks ago. Woo! So I'm probably gonna end up making the head very similar to how I made the yellow rabbit mask. But this time, I think I'm gonna make a 360 all the way around the head kind of mask. So I happen to have this decapitated Billy Butcherson head just laying around, aka Johnny Gilbert. And I think I'm gonna use it as kind of like a base because it's actually like the same size as my head. And just to be safe, I'm gonna go ahead and measure it using this string. Boopity boop. Yeah, that's like close enough, I'd say. Another way I can double check is I'm just gonna use the Springtrap mask that I used before and just shove his face right in there. Fits perfectly. You can see his little mouth right there. In retrospect, it might be a little bit easier to use something without hair, but it's okay. Boopity boop. Just need to make it a little bit bigger than the head, just to make sure that it fits on. Boopity boop. I'm just kind of twisting this wire around the other one, and then it should just stay. That's pretty good. Just the crown of the head, just like that. Okay, and this is what we got so far. It's looking pretty decent. It's kind of like the overall like dome shape. I decided to make the eyes on this one a little bit higher. On the original Springtrap mask, there's actually holes underneath the eyes that you see out of, and the eyes are right where my actual eyes are. So I don't really see out of these at all, but that should fix this a little bit because I'm looking more up. He's just gonna look more down at you, and should be able to see out of there. But yeah, that's why I'm moving that a little bit higher. So anyway, oh my gosh, it's covered in Johnny Gilbert's hair. Let's see if it fits. Yeah, that's pretty good, honestly. That fits on my head really nice. It's not super tight. I like it. I just see barely underneath the eye holes. This is where the slits are gonna go. And then I'm gonna see out of like these little guys, you see? Yeah, right at the bottoms. And then the eyes are gonna be kind of more up here. Yeah, that should just about work out. So now I'm gonna go in and cover it in this aluminum foil tape. So the trick with this is you wanna rip it before you take this part off. Otherwise, it's like really hard to rip this. And I kind of cut myself sometimes. I'm gonna start where the eye holes are because this is where I'm not gonna put tape for the most part. I left these extra big, that way I know that I have enough room for the eye holes. Actually, I'm gonna go get my eyes. I decided to go with these extra large orbs. They're like Christmas ornaments, and I'm most likely gonna invert them and then do like a little eyeball inside. That way it feels more like a deep eye socket. But this one seems to fit pretty good into both sockets, so I think we're good. Time to cover this bad boy up. So now I'm going in and kind of adding the space around the eye. Boopity boop. Cut off a little bit of this. I basically cut the wire to the shape of the eye. Boopity boop. Yeah, and then leave a little bit of space underneath, just like I was saying before. Yeah, that looks about right.
And I must say, attention to detail.
Boopity boop. There we go. It's nice and secured now. Now I just gotta do the other one. Okay, so I got the overall top of the head shell, whatever you want to call this, done. So now I have to go in and kind of add some cheekbones to him. He got some really high cheekbones in this version. And his cheekbones kind of go all the way back and then make like a lump in the back of his head. So I need to do that. And also make this a little bit thicker. That way I have a place to mount his teeth. Okay, so more shaping with our annealed wire then. Fun fact, I thought this was called aniled wire, and then Bobby Duke Arts was like, what the heck are you talking about? And I was like, you know, aniled wire. And they're like, annealed wire. And I was like, oh. So yeah, this is called annealed wire, which basically means softened wire. It's very solid. Okay, so the top of the head shell is pretty much done. I need to do foam, and I also want to add teeth and stuff. But before I do that, I think I'm going to go ahead and make the jaw. That way I know how they go together and stuff. Yeah, so I'm going to start on the jaw now, I guess. Just going to basically do the same shape as the top. Boopity boop. Getting the general shape of the jaw is kind of hard, but I got this. Okay. Okay, so as of right now, he's looking very, duck-like. And that's mostly because I'm just kind of doing, like, the general shape of the inside of his jaw. I really needed to make a place that I could mount his teeth, so I made sure that this is nice and flat. And just to double check that it still fits, it in fact does. Okay, so gonna be looking at the bottom of his eyes like that. And then the jaw should still be able to move too, see? That looks about right. By the way, this is the 3D model rendering that I'm going off of. I'll go ahead and link it down in the description down below. I thought this one was a pretty close one. Yeah, something basically like this. It's almost like a helmet. Here's what we got for the front view so far. I think that'll work. So now that I got the jaw kind of how I want it and the shape, I'm gonna go in and start adding some teeth. Now this version of him actually has 2 sets of teeth. He has the normal Springtrap teeth that are kind of like flat like this and not super scary, almost like a little teddy bear. And the scary large sharp teeth in the back. It is also like that in the upcoming game trailer. He has scary teeth in the back, normal teeth in the front. A while ago I transformed some Spirit Halloween masks into these scary looking ones. And for the teeth I used these acrylic nails, and I think they're absolutely horrifying and perfect for the job. I just used the annealed wire as kind of like a little hinge, and then the jaw just comes right apart. This will definitely make it way easier to do the teeth. So for the back teeth, like I said, I'm going to use some acrylic nails, but I also want to take some EVA foam and make an outline of the jaw. That way I can just kind of poke them in and then glue it straight to the jaw. I'm just gonna make a little rough outline of the jaw with some paper. Go ahead and cut that out. Does that fit? That's pretty good. Just fix up the outline just a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm just gonna take my EVA foam and transfer the stencil that I made. This is also a good way to see if the jaw that I made was symmetrical, and how we looking. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, that's pretty freaking good. That's a nice shape. I like it. So lucky for me, this foam is actually very easy to just push into. So I'm essentially just going to take some of them and then stab it up through the bottom. Oh my gosh, yeah, that just goes straight through. That's awesome. I really don't want the teeth too big. Otherwise, they're gonna start like stabbing into each other. I'm just going with my hot glue gun and glue on the bottom. Easy. I just gotta do probably like a dozen of these on the bottom. I don't think I have to do too many. In the game, it only looks like he has like 5 or 6 of them, but I kind of want to make it look a little bit more scary, so I'm gonna add probably like 10 going on the bottom if I have that many. I also kind of want to make it, you know, pretty symmetrical. So maybe like here. Yeah, there we go. It's looking pretty good. I like it. I like it a lot. Now I just have to do the same thing with the top of the jaw. Boopity boop. Easy peasy. A little harder than I thought, actually. Should probably get a bigger piece of paper. Kind of like that. we go. It's a little bit better. There we go. It's looking pretty good. I just gotta go in and do the same thing. Add some teeth to this guy. I'm just using some hot glue to kind of hold them all in place. Hopefully I didn't do these too long. Pretty good. I should have marked which ones were the top and which were the bottom. Luckily, I kind of have an idea that this is actually the top. Okay, that looks about right. Just leave this bad boy here. That's looking pretty good. Just gonna put a very light layer of hot glue on here to keep it in place, just for now. And then I'll really hot glue it on later. Okay. And this is how the back teeth are looking. I also want to make sure that I liked how everything sat. It's looking pretty good. I kind of want to move the jaw back just a tiny bit. But besides that, it's looking pretty good. So now I think I'm going to go in and just kind of cut the foam back a little bit, just so that there's a nice little shelf for our teeth to sit on. Just going to go in very carefully, just like this. Ah. Okay, so now I'm gonna start making his outer teeth. For this, I'm just gonna use regular old, I think this is like 1/4 inch EVA foam. Teeth are pretty thin, so they don't need to be crazy. So essentially, he has 12 on the top, 6 on each side, and 10 on the bottom, 5 on this side. At least in the model I'm using. So that's like 22 teeth total. I think I kind of want to double up the foam. So now I'll have symmetrical teeth. Hopefully. Okay, not bad. Yeah, so I think this will work for his bottom teeth. I do kind of want to shape them out a little bit. I'm gonna see how I can make his top teeth look. Okay, I got all the teeth cut out. I ended up having more teeth than I anticipated. I didn't make them quite big enough, but I'm sure that they're gonna get a little bit bigger once I add the plastic around the teeth. Then I'm gonna put a pot of water and then another pot of water over that so that this pot of water isn't as hot as this pot of water, but this pot of water is still heating up. Does that make sense? So then I can take the hot plastic out of this and then put it into the not as hot water, and I can mold it and touch it without burning myself, hopefully. So, let's hope this works. So while that is heating up, I think I'm gonna go in and paint the inside of his mouth. Remember how I said I didn't glue this foam down all the way? And that's exactly why, so I could paint it. So while that's heating up, I'm gonna go in and paint this guy's mouth. The inside, at least. Remember how I said I'm not gonna glue this down all the way because I wanna take it out later? Well, this is the exact reason why. I think I might have even used a little bit too much glue. I'm just gonna carefully go in and remove it. Boopity boop. Okay, there we go. I only knocked out all these freaking teeth. I also gotta do the bottom really quick. Wow, okay. That wasn't too bad. I just glue this in after I paint it. Well, let's go paint these bad boys. Boobity boop. I'm just gonna use some red acrylic paint. That should be just fine for the inside of his mouth. I just have to try and avoid the teeth. No, I already freaking did it. Ah! I really didn't want acrylic paint on there. Luckily, it comes off the acrylic nails pretty easy. Who knew that acrylic paint would come off acrylic nails so easy? So while these bad boys are drying, we're just gonna go back and focus our attention on the teeth. Well, the other teeth, I mean, these teeth. First things first, I grab my meltable beads and just put a bunch in there. Gonna mix them up a little bit and eventually they'll just turn transparent. Just like that. Okay, that's looking pretty good. They're very stretchable, very nice. Now I'm gonna take the other pot that was already pretty warm, just put it in that one. I'm gonna grab my very first tooth, just stretch it out and wrap it right around that tooth. The trick is you have to do it in the water. Ah! I messed it up. This is really hard, I'm not gonna lie. Especially with gloves on. I just know I won't be able to do it very long if I don't have gloves on. Cut the bottom with scissors. Okay, that's pretty good. Well, one down and a bunch more to go. Okay, so the teeth are completely covered in plastic and they are nice and hard. So I was messing around earlier with some of these screws and the little teeth. And it looks like I can just grab a screw and put it into the tooth. Boopity boop. And it really just holds on so tight. So I think I'm gonna try this method with, oh no, I don't wanna mix up the order of my teeth. But I'm gonna try this method by attaching them like that, and I'm hoping that it really turns out good. Nice and strong. Yeah, and that's pretty on there, so I think I'm gonna try this method and then also hot glue it. And that thing is not moving, especially if I reinforce the top right here. Before I do that, I'm gonna go in and glue the back teeth back down. Oh, yes. This time I'm gonna use a good amount of glue. It only took me about halfway through the teeth to remember that I have a low impact drill. Look how slow that goes, it's perfect! But top jaw looking really freaking creepy. I went in and kind of hollowed out the bottom jaw so that I could access this part for the screws. And now I'm just adding all the teeth. Ah. That is much simpler, honestly. I'm trying to do like 2 screws each tooth, that way it really stays in. Oh no. The screw came through. I need to reinforce that little part. Oopsie doopsie. That's looking a little crooked. Okay, I got all the teeth screwed in, and they're looking pretty dang solid. They're kind of a little bit uncanny, not gonna lie. Like, they kind of look like real teeth, but not really. I don't know how to describe it. The screws, I kind of wish were still visible, because they look really cool. But, you're not gonna be able to see the screws in the end, but they're definitely gonna help with some of the rigidity of the teeth. On top of the screws, I think I'm also gonna go in and kind of back all these up with some hot glue, just to really make sure that they stay in place, you know what I mean? Here we go. I might even go in and kind of like paint over this with some red. We all love a good old-fashioned murder bunny rabbit once in a while, you know? Yeah, that's looking very freaking scary, not gonna lie. So I'm going in and kind of adding some texture to the inside of the mouth to make it kind of look a little bit more mouth-shaped. For this, I'm just using my hot glue gun, and then I'm probably gonna put some latex over this to kind of like seal it up and make it look real nice. And then I'm gonna repaint it red to really make it look like the inside of a mouth. Ah yes, just a little bit of latex. Boop, boop. Just gonna gently put that on there. Just really give it some texture. Sometimes what I like to do is I mix paint and latex together. And then you can just kind of paint with it. Boopity boop. Okay, and he's looking very freaking terrifying. Look at that. Those teeth are looking really good. So now it's time for me to start adding foam to him and start shaping him out. I left like a lot of room for the muzzle right here, and I need to kind of elongate his head just ever so slightly. So I'm just gonna grab some foam and just start gluing it right on. Boopity boop. Just gonna do a small section of the foam at a time to really make sure that it sticks on. This part's a little bit difficult, not gonna lie. It's definitely a little bit of a time-consuming process, but it's okay. There we go. Kind of cut it a little bit, help it form a little better. Okay, yeah, it's definitely a work in progress, but we got this. Probably gonna wait actually, just until I get this completely glued down. And I think I'm gonna get like a long strip for his cheekbones. Yes, that's looking pretty good. I like it. That's definitely coming together. It's a work in progress for sure. Cut out the eyes, see what we're working with. There we go. Yeah, okay. Definitely gonna need to do a little bit of shape in here, but that's okay. It's looking really good. Okay, so I just got the top of the head done, and I think it's pretty close to the model that I'm going off of, so if I need to change anything, I could always do it later. Now, onto the bottom of the jaw. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the overall shape of this guy so far. He's looking very Springtrappy, and he should even fit on my head still. Look at that. And the foam just kind of goes under my chin, and it should still open. Ah! Ah! Wow, that's pretty terrifying, not gonna lie. He looks a little funny still, in my opinion, but I think, as my girlfriend was saying, it's probably because he doesn't have ears yet. But I'm really liking the shape, and he's looking really creepy, especially in the mouth. Wow. Okay, now it's time to start putting fabric on this thing. So I cut the fabric to be nice and tight around the form, and now I'm gonna use something called a ladder stitch to sew all this up. If you guys wanna know how to do the ladder stitch, Adam Kruger made a great video you can watch right over here. I also showed it in the last couple videos I made, so I don't think I really need to do it again. But yeah, I'm just gonna do this all the way down the head. So I just got done kind of form-fitting the fabric and sewing everything together, and I'm noticing a lot of little bumps, so I'm gonna go in and take this bad boy off. Luckily, it's just like a little sock. Honestly, that's not a lot of bumps for how many bumps there are. So I'm just gonna go in and smooth it out as good as I can. Worst case scenario, I might put some duct tape to help smooth it out. I don't know. Good old duct tape. It's probably these giant hunks of hot glue, honestly. Okay. Pretty good. Oh no, it's bunching up on the head. Gotta pull it as flat as I can. I see. Yes, yes, yes. Make sure everything's nice and smooth. Okay, so now that I'm happy with how smooth everything is, I'm gonna start gluing this down. This is the third time I'm taking this off, but it's okay. Just really sculpting it with my hands. Now I gotta cut the eyes. Gotta be real careful with this. And something like that. Aha. Okay. There we go. Make sure to keep his eyebrows. I'm gonna go in and carefully start gluing all this to the edge, / start kind of cutting it. I always cut a little bit more than you think you're gonna need because you could always cut a little bit more off. Okay. Okay, so I finished the mustard yellow part of his head. The inside's looking pretty good. I'm not sure if I want to keep it metallic inside or if I want to go in and put like red fabric. I'll see how it fits and then I'll decide from there. But now it's time for me to do the more brightly colored nose. Just kind of going in, getting the general shape. I'm just gonna go in and kind of cut all the fabric. I'm cutting a lot more than I need, and that's because I'm gonna go in and kind of like fit it to really be nice and snug on there. Ah, there we go. I'm gonna use these pins to kind of hold the cloth in place. This way I can make it nice and stretched out. I don't really want any wrinkles down where the lip is. And if I stretch it out kind of like in this formation, it should fit pretty nicely. Okay, the top is now all fabriced out. Now I just have to do the bottom. Are these still going together okay? Okay, it's looking pretty close. Okay, so now it's time to put fabric on the bottom part of the jaw. So I think I'm just gonna leave a little bit in the middle here and make sure it all kind of folds up nicely into the jaw. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Grab my scissors, just gonna cut. I'm gonna bend these kind of straight just so I can poke a hole right where I need it. And I'll just bend it back later. There we go. Oh wow, yeah, that just kind of nicely folds into here. Boopity boop. Poke that hole right in there. Boopity boop. To the other side. Make sure everything's nice and tight. I don't want any wrinkles. I should be able to get away with doing a good chunk of the jaw without doing any sewing. Just slowly making my way down onto the cloth because I just want to cut just barely enough so that it's tight and it'll just go straight underneath his gums like that. Grab my hot glue gun. Should be able to just kind of tuck it underneath the foam still, luckily. Especially any bunches I have. I'm gonna grab some pliers, just kind of use that to tuck it down into the gums. Wow, that's looking pretty good. I'm just gonna slowly make my way down the jawline and keep tucking. Okay, this side is done. It looks really nice, not gonna lie. I like how it turned out. Now I just gotta do the other side. Okay, so I got the whole bottom of the jaw done, and I think the red fabric was a really good move. It looks really good. I still have to do the top, but I'll worry about that in a little bit. I started working on the eyes a little bit, and I was gonna use these ornaments because it makes a nice, like, concaved look. But whenever I tried putting on the mask, they go a little too far in, and I can't put the eye sockets in because of my big freaking forehead. So I think I'm gonna try this funnel thing, and then cut the tip off, just like I did here. And boom! It just kind of goes right in. It still hits my forehead a little bit, but at least it's not hard. And it kind of still keeps that shape, luckily. Okay guys, after the last couple hours of just brainstorming ideas, I came up with a few different ideas. I could cut down the lid and it would look something like this. I tried this thing, but I really liked how dark it was because it kind of really looked like the one from the video game. So I had an idea, and I just took my goggles that I wear in every single video, popped out the lens, flipped it around, look at that, it's black, boom! You can't even tell it's in there. Then I get half of a ping pong ball, and a little light that I got, the same ones I used for the last spring trap. Boopity boop. Look at that. That has potential, I gotta say. And it kind of looks just like, oh. It looks just like how it does in the video game. It's literally just a pair of glowing eyes. I don't think that these things are lost because I noticed Springtrap actually has like a yellow border around his eye like this. And I think I might be able to glue some fabric to this. Just gonna cut it down a little bit. To be honest, guys, I have no idea if this is gonna work. But that's why we're trying it. Just make it a little bit bigger than it needs to be. Honestly, will that fit over it? Not quite. Will this fit over it? Oh, yes. That'll work. It's gonna go in. Yes. Just somehow hot glue it to this bad boy. In theory, I should be able to just glue it onto this ring. But it is a silicone ring, so I don't know how well hot glue is gonna stick to it. Ah! It's gonna start pulling it on there. Just pulling it on there. Just like that. Okay. That's working pretty decent, actually. Just rolling it over the top. Yes, okay. Now we have a perfect little circle. So now I'm gonna attempt to cut it. This is working pretty good. Now I'm just gonna glue that down. Ah, that's hot. Ooh, still very fresh. Ouch, ouch. I'm gonna take some of this extra hot glue out because I really don't need that. There we go. You're just pinching it all down. Excellent. Okay, now I got a perfect little yellow ring, and that should be good for the ring around his eye. Now let's see if this bad boy fits, and that's not bad. Yeah, pretty spooky, not gonna lie. It really does give some like depth to his face too. I didn't really like how big the eyeballs were because in the game they're kind of just like little dots versus like this is almost like the entire eye. So what I did was I have these really realistic looking plastic eyes that I got a while ago. I also used these in the FNAF masks that I made in the past and you guys seem to really like them. I think it just makes it look so much more creepy and realistic. Look at that. I think that's how it should be. I even like how there's like a white ring around the eye. Very ominous. I think to make it blend in a little better, I'm probably gonna paint this light black, or maybe even just use a Sharpie if that'll work. Oh, that's not bad. I have to be careful because it definitely will get on my hands. It doesn't look dark enough for me. Now I'm gonna glue these fake eyes onto the light. Oh wow, yeah, these turned out pretty good. I like how they glow. Very nice. Now we're gonna take our lenses and glue them into the eye holes. Just gonna put them in the position that I want them. Just a very light layer of hot glue around the eye hole. There we go. Oh, perfect. Now for the other one, this one might be a little bit harder. Okay, now it's time to install our peach rings. It also kind of adds to his eyebrow a little bit. He looks kind of wacky, not gonna lie. Well, time to full send this, I suppose. It looks good. One thing I also forgot to do was seal off this nose. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit of hot glue. And kind of fold it over. And I almost forgot the tip of this little bunny's nose. My favorite way to make noses is with a ball pit ball. And I feel like it's extra appropriate for this one since, you know, it's into the pit. I just kind of cut it in half. And then we kind of cut it into the shape we need. Boobity boop. There we go. That looks pretty close, actually. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and Sharpie this bad boy to be black. I'm pretty sure that's how I normally do it. And I think I did both sides to make it extra dark. Oh, that's very dark. Yeah, that ought to do it. Okay, so I tried it, and I'm not really happy with how the nose looks on him. I think it needs to stick out just a little bit more. Instead of a ball pit ball, I actually used a ping pong ball. Ironic, right? The one into the pit one, I didn't use a ball pit ball. I just used a ping pong ball. But you can't argue that looks so much better. So I'm gonna paint this one black, and I'm probably gonna use that instead. Now we just have to glue on this guy's nose. Boopity boop. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So I ended up messing with the eyes a little bit more, and I found that if I hook it up to a 9-volt battery, not only is it slightly brighter than the one without the 9-volt battery, it also has a lower profile. So I can kind of make it look a little bit more recessed into the eye. So in order to make room for these wires, I'm gonna drill a little hole in the center of these lenses. I'm kind of scared I'm gonna break them, so I got my little tiny drill, and I have a little drill bit. It goes very, very slow. Just gonna go and do it right in the center of the eye. Okay, this is taking literally forever, so I'm gonna go in with my super cheap little Dremel tool. It's very weak, so I think that'll do. Just gonna go in really, really slow with this guy. Oh, that's much better. Oh, instant, perfect. All I needed was a little tiny hole. I should be able to just grab my wires and just pop them on through there. That's pretty good. Ho ho! Go ahead and reconnect my wires. And there we go! It seems to be working! One down, another one to go. Okay, so I really like how they look when they're recessed. It definitely looks a lot better on this side than it does on this side. I ordered some LEDs that'll fit behind this eye, and then I'm gonna go in and wire it through the head into the back, and then I'm gonna put a little battery pack in this little part. Those are coming in a couple days, so in the meantime, I'm gonna try and make some ears. Luckily, his ears are very symmetrical, so if I make one that I like, I can basically double it and then use it for both of them. Okay, I'm also gonna try and fold it in half. That way, the ears are really symmetrical. Okay, yeah, that's looking pretty good, I'd say. Just make another one. For the top one, I'm gonna make it ever so slightly smaller, and I'm gonna round it out. Okay, and this is how his ear is gonna look. I think it looks a little bit too, I don't know, maybe a little bit too long on the bottom part. And I also kind of want to make it a little bit wider. Okay, so I think this size and shape looks about right. I'm gonna put it on cardboard, and then I'm gonna make some cardboard ears, and we're gonna see how those look. Okay, just gotta make 2 sets of each of these. Boopity boop. Okay. Now I'm gonna grab some annealed wire. Let's go ahead and stick that in the cardboard. Just like that. Look how easy that is. Nice. There we go. Now let's try this out on the head. That's looking like a good size, I think. He likes to, you know, hide himself like that. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and use this old scrap of foam. Boopity boop. I really like how this one in particular is shaped. So instead of using this one and this one, I'm just gonna use this one. That way it's nice and symmetrical. It just has this really nice, like, almond shape, and I think that really matches the ears. Boopity boop. Now I'm gonna mark where the inside of the ear is gonna go. This one that I used earlier is pretty close. Small modification. That's pretty good. Okay, now we're just gonna go in and very carefully start cutting the inside part for our ears. Okay, now I'm gonna start trying to shape this bad boy. I grab one of these guys. Kinda. Start smoothing it out. Okay, that's looking pretty good. On to the next one. So I have these hinges that I think would look really cool as like the ear hinges. I went ahead and cut a little slit in the bottom of the ears. Boopity boop. Yeah, and that's kind of what they look like. Pretty simple. I'm either gonna do that or I'm just gonna use more anti-lead wire. I might use a mixture of the two to kind of keep them up as well. Just throw a little bit of wire behind it. Yeah, something like that might work. Okay guys, so I messed around a little bit and I made a DIY exoskeleton. It's a little bit wonky, but basically how I made it is I took some of these hinges that I got from Lowe's and then I bonded them together using some wire. And then I got some springs and I just kind of stuck each end into one of these holes on each one of the mechanisms. I also made sort of like a little stopper right here. All I did for that is use some of this heavy duty wire and then I used some Ethernet cable to just kind of tie it on. Nothing really fancy. I wanted to stay as simple as I could. I also went in with my vise and kind of bent the hinges a little bit to match the head shape. So now I have the ear exoskeleton. I accidentally ripped one of the ears when I was trying to put it on, so I guess don't do that. I just made a couple little slits in the top and the bottom, and this should just slide right in. Boopity boop. Like I said, the top was a little messed up, so oopsie doopsie. Now I'm just gonna hot glue everything in place, I think. Very nice. Okay, so I just made the patterns for the inside of the ears. This should also kind of help the whole thing stay together a little bit. For this, I'm just gonna use some 1/2 inch EVA foam. It's time to break out the silver Sharpie. A boopity boop. See how that fits? Oh, that's pretty nice. I like it. That's actually like perfect. I'm gonna carve just a little bit out for all the wires and stuff that are at the bottom. Help at all? Yeah, that's not bad. Very good, very good. Now for the bottom one. Pretty good. Okay, so I made another version with ever so slightly thinner foam, and I kind of like how this looks a little bit better. And also I need to compensate for when I add fabric over this whole thing. So I just made a version for each side. I'm just gonna go ahead and paint these guys really quick. I'm gonna use this spray paint because it has kind of like an enamel coating, which is almost like a little candy shell. Boopity boop! Gonna go in with my blade, and hopefully I don't mess up everything I just did, because that would be really sad. I'm just gonna see if I can slide my ear into the fabric back here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Very nice. Okay guys, so after about 2 weeks of work, he's finally done. Okay, let's go show Tori Dobransky.
Ah! Oh my god! I like the ears. That's really fun. Okay, you can bounce them. That looks wild.
Here, try it on.
Hello.
That looks so creepy, I'm not gonna lie.
It's a little bit big for me, but it's okay.
It's a little bit small for me, so it all works out. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching the video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. It looks something like this, find it right down there. Also make sure to hit that subscribe button. And also go check out the Robbie and Tori channel. We actually have a couple of videos where we play Into the Pit, so you can go check that out right now. I've actually been working on this for about 2 weeks before it came out, and I was super excited to play it, and then I got a little bit distracted playing it, so this came out a little bit late. But anyway, guys, I love you so much, and I'll see you guys again real soon. Peace, love, and Wi-Fi. Awkward ending? Okay, bye! Ah!